Hi to everyone who's just arrived. Please introduce yourself in the chat. It'll be really nice to get to know you at least on a quick level. And we'll start at around 9:05. So we're going to start quite punctually today. But until then, please just introduce yourself in the chat. Let us know where you're hailing from or what's on your mind. And welcome to the session.
Carsten and Dorian, just to note, it seems that there are some exporters that are trying to join this. We are not allowing them in because information is only really for trade promotion service providers. If we do see them there, we're just removing them, and Cindy is just communicating with them on WhatsApp saying this is not a session for them. Just note.
It's noted. Thank you.
Noted, Rex. I will also just WhatsApp the country teams just to alert them.
Okay.
All right.
Rex, you can give me the go-ahead when I need to move through the slides.
Yeah. Okay, I'm going to... Just send a little reminder to everybody. Getting more people join. Okay. All right, great. I think we got to get going. Hi, everyone. Welcome to this third part and presentation of the workshop on trade promotion service providers capacitation. Today, if you could go over to the next slide, please, David. This is going to be the agenda for the day. We're going to just start off with introductions, as we just want to make sure we introduce various parties that are involved, starting off with our team, and then various the USA trade guys, and then also just nice and interesting to see if there's any other trade promotion service providers that have joined. We're going to look then at what's really been happening with Engage Trade Africa to give you some deeper insight into how the program has been evolving. It's sort of a high-level oversight of what's going on. Then we'll have a look at the deal tracker. We've been going through this deal tracker every 2 weeks or so, but we've actually so just if Cindy can just jump on people to mute them if you can. Just look at the high level opportunities of the deal tracker on each country. So we'll go deeper into that and going to do a bit of explaining how those things happen to give you insights. From there, I thought this is a little bit more of a literal training and opportunity and workshop. And then just have a look at difference between trade targeted meetings and trade shows and the pros and cons of each. And then we'll open up for Q&A at the end. We're going to run through this quite quickly and make sure that it's quite engaging. So please, stop me as I go. Don't feel shy. Please put questions on the chat as well if you want to bring up anything, but this is really to go deeper and understand what's going on in the program, and we'll see training happening through that. So just to get it all started, our moderator today is David Robertson from Compass Crew. David,
hi, everyone.
Say hi. You're on mute, David.
Oh, sorry, I think I was muted and then unmuted there. Hi, everyone. I'm just going to be helping Rex out today. I don't have much of an introduction, but I'm a facilitator. And if you've got any comments, please, or questions, please pop them in the chat, as Rex said, as we go along. And don't be shy. Please share your thoughts or ideas or questions, and we will definitely get to them in the Q&A session. We're going to run through each one. So please feel free to do that. Yeah, and welcome.
Great, thanks, David. And then Cindy and myself. So you know me, I've introduced myself. I'm the Managing Director of Catalyze. head and lead on this project, as well as Cindy, who all of you guys have chatted to and have received lots of emails from, who is business lead, new business development lead as well for the project, and sourcing a lot of the buyers and scheduling meetings and managing that kind of stuff as well. Cindy, do you want to just say hi quick?
Hi, everyone.
Thanks. And then we want to just quickly run through the US Trade Hub team, just so everybody knows. And when we do that, if you could please just switch on your cameras and give a wave, that'd be great, so people know you. And I know most of the TPSPs know you already, but it's always good to show that you're here and active. So Doreen, can we call you up? You're a project specialist for the US Trade Hub.
Thank you, Rex, and good morning. Good morning, everybody. My name is Doreen Lovu, and I'm the portfolio specialist from USA Trade Hub. Nice to meet you all.
Awesome. Thanks, Doreen.
Yeah.
And then Cos, if you can, Cos Mamhunzi.
Okay.
Thanks, Rex, and good morning, everyone. My name is Cosmos Mamunze. I'm the portfolio manager for South Africa. I'm looking forward to this event. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Just making sure everyone's off. We've got some other regional directors or portfolio directors with us today. I think Tammy. Sure.
Hi, Rex.
Tammy, how are you doing?
I'm okay, and how are you?
Yeah, all good, man. Where are you sitting?
Am I on camera?
Yeah, we can see you.
Oh, okay. Thanks. I'm Tammy Dlamini. I'm the portfolio manager for Lesotho, Eswatini, Mozambique, and Angola.
Awesome, great. Thanks for that. Any other regional directors here? Let's see any. Okay, and then so we'll just quickly run through the other people on the call. So we've got Marina. Hi, Marina, how are you doing?
Morning, Rex. I'm good, thank you. Good morning, everyone. My name is Marina. I'm the Lesotho country representative. Thank you. Looking forward to our engagement this morning.
Awesome, great. Neil, can we see you here? Neil, are you available? Okay, I'm not sure if Neil can get his camera on. But yeah, we've got other country reps. So I'm not going to go through everyone so we can get started, but from Angola, Eswatini, Malawi, Namibia, Botswana, Lesotho, Mozambique, and Zambia. There's 8 countries that we've been dealing with in this project. And I know that we sent on Friday to everybody a little update of what's happening with your countries and what's been evolving. So you'll have all that information. And I think, next step, we'll just go through sort of a high level of what has been going on in the project. So David, if you can get over to the next slide. So just, an outline of where we're at. Some of these numbers have actually increased. So we're at 79 meetings lined up. I think on Friday, we're probably at about 85 now. A whole lot more have come through. There's been from that 79, about 18 very strong opportunities that we're looking to turn into deals at the moment. So that's looking very, very promising. Long-term partnerships is a little bit different. So hard deal closing opportunities is somewhere where we've chatted with someone and there's an imminent sale that can happen. That this could be either a once-off sale or something that is multiple sales going forward. Long-term partnership is something a bit different, where we're looking at agreements that are establishing a longer term sale. So something that's happening multiple times over the next while. So I'll go through that. And you'll see the difference between these two as I go through them. In the sort of hard deal opportunities are in pinky purple color as I go through them, and the long-term partnerships are in yellow. So you'll see that, and I'll explain as I go through them. And this program is requiring 10 deals from us. So we're, as you can see, we're on quite a good trajectory to closing these. So quite good. And then we are expecting a lot more to come through. Cindy and I have been at quite a few events over the last few weeks. Cindy will also be going to another event on Friday. So we've gone to the Plant Powered Show in Cape Town. We've been to Africa Big 7. We saw about 100 companies out there and met other buyers on the way, visitors, buyers on the way as well. And then we went to manufacturing in Durban last week as well. And this week, Cindy's going to pop into the House and Garden Show. So we've picked up quite a few new opportunities at those events as well. So yeah, I've been quite productive.
Rex, how does this compare to last year? Just out of interest.
Well, yeah, it was a sort of a smaller amount of companies that we were dealing with last year, obviously with 16, and this year is 40. So we are, and we only had a target of 4 deals last year. So we are tracking well ahead of that. I think the biggest differentiator still again this year, and something that we look at always going forward, is that we are still buyer-led. So a lot of the opportunities that are coming through are opportunities that has sort of showed their opportunity right in the beginning before we even started finding which companies we're dealing with. So which exporters we're dealing with. So the buyers have sort of developed the opportunities. It started with them. But then again, there's been a great selection of stronger companies as well. So there was a lot of push towards the stronger companies like the Bulb World in Botswana and Flowtech, and then pushing big companies like 260 Brands in Zambia, Komako in Malawi. Companies like this who've got the ability, AfriFruita is another big one. So big companies that have got the ability to supply people, and that's been the game changer this year for sure. Great.
Should I move on to the next one?
No, so I just wanted to look at the top buy opportunities there as well. So a big retailer is Build It, which is part of the SPAR group, and so those opportunities have really developed nicely. The Bulb World and Flowtech, and those are going to go into deals quite soon. We introduced Soaring Super Free to you guys a few weeks ago when they joined one of the training workshops, and that's developed really nicely as well, and just also shows how important it is to get people involved in programs. So if we didn't get Soaring Super Free to speak and involved in the event, we probably would have struggled to get them to speak to as many companies and really realize the opportunity. Quite interestingly, though, I actually bumped into Callan from Soaring Super Foods at the Plant Powered Show. I'd never met him in person before, and we kind of saw each other across the aisle and trying to work out who each other were. But he was, when I met with him, he was so excited to be involved and opening up these opportunities. So great to have him involved. So really great opportunities coming from there, which we'll run through. Forest Fairies, also a great company based in Durban, looking at sourcing a lot of products. So lots of really, really strong conversations going on there. Manoelis Munchies, who were involved in the first Engage Trade Africa, are developing even further, and it just shows that with them, I'll show you about the consistency of working with buyers, because opportunities come through out of that as well, where they've sent back a whole bunch of macadamians to a local supplier, and quite open to looking at Conforzio to supply them their macadamians because of quality. So that's quite exciting. NutriSeed's a new person that's come on board, also come through call outs and Plant Powered Show participation. So that's been quite exciting. And Nuts as well, also through sourcing and talking to them quite a lot. Some really good opportunities over there. So yeah, so we'll, David, if you can head over to the next slide. As mentioned, we're going to go through this country by country, but I'm not wading through all the opportunities here because we wouldn't have enough time. I've just selected the key ones. As mentioned, yeah, as you'll see on this one, the companies and opportunities highlighted in purple are very high of importance and possible closing opportunities. So when you see that, yeah, we'll obviously spend a bit more time on those. And then if you see them in yellow, that's sort of imminent closing opportunities as well that we see closing over the next few weeks, sort of 2 to 3 weeks. Please, as I go through each country rep, please be ready and waiting, because this is your opportunity to ask deeper questions about your companies. And see how you can assist more. And the whole idea of this is to try push opportunity through, while at the same time giving other country reps the opportunity to see what's happening. What are these buyers looking for? Why are they important to us? Great. And Dave, please don't hesitate to stop me and slow me down and stop me from talking too much as I go through this.
Sure. Well, we actually want you to talk as much as possible, but as you go along, to all those who've just arrived as well, I know I've seen a few people have just stepped in over the last 5 minutes. Please feel free to interact in the chat and ask questions as we go along. If you want to ask something about to the rep or to Rex, pop it in the chat and we'll get to that in the Q&A session towards the end. So we're keeping it interactive. But thanks. Yeah, take it away, Rex. I'm interested to hear about Angola.
Awesome. Great. So yes, just to start with Angola, obviously we had a very limited amount of companies. Foodcare is a great company though. The more we chat to them, the more opportunities are there. They're producing great product. And Soaring Free were one of the companies that we brought on. They came through having great conversations with Rush Nutrition last year, and being introduced to them from Rush Nutrition. So you'll see Rush there as well. But so it's one is Soaring Free is obviously a distributor. Rush is a manufacturer. So Rush got Soaring Free to contact us and work with us on this opportunity, and something sparked out of there. So when we chatted to Kellen, we had a good idea of what he was looking for. These are products, Kellen is at Soaring Free, so these are products that he said he would be very keen on. So your different flours was something that he was very keen on. And obviously finding someone in Angola who does this was a logical step. It was a great conversation. The meeting had, it sparked into an opportunity to send samples down. We are experiencing, just so you know, a lot of requests for samples at the moment, and that is possibly slowing the deal process down. So if there's anything that all of you take back from this, is to have a chat to your companies and just also make sure that they've got capacity and the ability to send product down. If they are struggling and something like that, we are speaking to them and assisting them with people that can do this. But just to make a note, I mean, going forward on certain projects like this, it might be a good idea to look at having samples already sitting in South Africa somewhere, almost at like a fulfillment center, so that products can get through to buyers a lot quicker, samples can get through to buyers a lot quicker, because that would move the opportunities over a lot faster. So it's definitely something to think of in the future. But yeah, this is an opportunity that we definitely see growing in the next, I would say, it's still going to take a while. I think we're probably waiting about 2 weeks for product to come down. Based in Soaring Free are based in Cape Town, so it's getting the product down, and then them to assess that product and then make a decision if they're going to go ahead with it. So it's definitely a great one. I've added Foodcare with Rush Nutrition there. There's been interest in pumpkin balls, peanut butter, etc. So it's really looking at price point against local distributors' prices. But then again, it's where Soaring Free comes into it as well and gives that opportunity so that they possibly could bring down more stock at once for someone like Rush Nutrition as well at the same time. So it's making sure we understand what the manufacturer needs and the user needs, and then the distributor can do for them. So it's quite exciting. I'm just opening it up to Angola. Tammy, have you got any questions with that you need answering that can help you with the company? Or anyone else from Angola that needs any more questions answered there?
Good morning. No questions on my side.
Okay.
I'm Nelly.
Okay, lovely, Nelly. Thanks for
we know she's in the process of sending samples. That's all she told us.
Okay, great. So yeah, I mean, it would be good just to put a little bit of pressure on them because we had that actually last year. Is the downfall was with a couple of deals were getting those samples into office and getting them quickly. Your biggest problem with the buyers, they've got a very short attention span. So they understand who you are 1 week, and then the next week you call them and they go, I don't know who you are. The other big problem, and we've had that with Food Lovers as an example. I've got a buyer there at the moment, and they were very keen, and that buyer is now leaving Food Lovers and moving to open up his own business, and now he said it's great. He still wants to do stuff with us, but we've got to wait 2-3 more weeks until he set that up. So the need to get samples down to people quickly is keeping their attention, and you might just have them at that specific time. Really getting stuff down quickly. Great.
We will talk to her. She said between this week and next week the samples will be in SA.
Brilliant. Yeah. And again, we're here. We've got some great freight companies and solutions if needed. So please don't hesitate. Soaring Free is not far from me as well. So if there's really some kind of an issue, I'm sure we can get stuff down to me and we can get it across to Kellen somehow. But so we will find a solution to get that through. So don't feel shy on that front. Great. David, can you flip over to Botswana, please?
Tammy's hand is up.
Hi, Tammy. Yes.
Hi, Rex. I think this question is general for most of the firms that need to import into South Africa. Do you have an idea how we could handle having samples, a fulfillment center? Is there anyone who would provide a fulfillment center for a number of companies, something like that? Because a lot of the companies will not be able to get into South Africa and establish something as quick as they need to. What would be your advice?
There are fulfillment centers. It would require, the problem with fulfillment center, there is a cost to pay monthly to host your product in that fulfillment center. But if people are serious about getting into markets, it's a great idea to basically set something up and have someone hold that stock for you. It is a requirement. You've got to have stock that's got a lifespan on it as well. So nothing that's it sort of has to have a 1.5 year lifespan on it, so shelf life on it. So that's something to discuss. But yes, we do have some people that can help with that. So we can have a chat with the companies on that front as needed. Great.
Thanks, Rex. I think it's something that the TPSPs can use, having that information, so that as they guide the firms through, those are the options together with the logistics options that
Awesome.
be provided.
Great. So after this, I will put together a few of them so you can see who you can do fulfillment with. Great. Good. Okay. So just moving on to Botswana. Firstly, you'll see there in yellow, been some really strong opportunities with these two companies. Obviously, there's a whole lot of other Botswanan companies, but these have been the two that have really shined, and a lot of opportunity has come from. So to give you a little bit of background, Build It, as I mentioned before, are part of the SPAR group. We actually came across them by one of our colleagues going into a store and having a chat and finding out who the buyer of Build It is. We got in contact with that buyer and they jumped on it. So again, as much as virtual meeting saves things, the opportunity to actually get that person on the phone often needs you to actually go and meet with them in person, or find someone that can introduce you to them. So it was, as soon as we got hold of Gareth at Build It, he was super excited to jump onto this opportunity, being passionate about doing business with Africa, and already, you know, they have a lot of stores in different countries in Africa. It made sense for him to open this up. So I see a lot of opportunity coming from this, not just with these companies, but other companies that are dealing within the construction and building products industry. So it's a highlight for you guys as well. If you have other companies that are doing stuff in the space, so doing plumbing stuff, or doing bathroom fittings, or doing cement and stone, or doing I know that Montigny from Eswatini are doing gum poles and bitumen poles, so there could be an opportunity there. But anyone doing stuff in that space, have a think about it. Let us know. As I've mentioned in the last sessions and various other sessions, we are very open to having you guys send us more companies that are not part of the 40 exporters. We've had this in the spice space as well. At the moment, we've sent that to you guys. So keep that in mind. So just how this all transpired, we got hold of Gareth. Gareth was very keen, send him some information. The first introductory meeting was virtual. It was well received. Gareth was very excited. Bulb World have jumped on this, which is great. And they've actually sent their CEO down. He was in South Africa. He was in Johannesburg sorting out their facility up in Johannesburg. It's more of a logistics facility, but he shot down to Durban, and he's actually met Gareth in his office. And this is so important when there's a big opportunity like this, to go and meet someone in their offices. Again, they'll remember them. You know, you might go out for lunch with them. So it's encouraged to get companies to do this, especially if they're coming down for a trade show. Get them down to the market, but spend time in South Africa, fly down to another city. It's relatively low cost of getting to another city in South Africa. It's worthwhile. You might spend 3,000 Rand, but you know, pick up an order for a few thousand or 100,000s in this case with Bulb World. All samples have sat with Gareth in the office. He's got stuff to look at, so he's going to be making a decision quite soon. So that was very, very exciting. So we'll update, and that we see as a possible close quite soon. The other big one was Flowtech. Again, I was a little bit nervous with this. We took Flowtech to approached big Carp, they're called Carp Agri, so they've got a whole lot of stores around South Africa in the agricultural space and building and construction space. First, they turn their nose up at CVPVC piping, saying they've tried that before and burnt themselves. So I was a little bit nervous going into this meeting, but on the contrary, Gareth was totally excited about it. I think the fact that Flowtech are doing this on license of an American product helped, but he was very keen on it, has opened the opportunity up, looking to get it into his stores. They've sent through pricing and how it works. They do stuff with training people as well with Flowtech, so they're very involved. we see this as a very high opportunity and coming through quite quickly. So we will carry on monitoring that. Anyone from Botswana here need a little bit more information on that? Okay, great. So yeah, it is a definite, again, a big opportunity. So Build It are very keen and growing extremely fast, very fluid, got the ability to buy and try things. They are the biggest building store in Africa at the moment. So it's definitely something that you want to target and get companies involved in.
Thanks, Rex. Tammy says Eswatini team can also send details on Swazi Wire. They produce good quality fencing material, including construction steel and reinforcement products. I think that's when you mentioned earlier, you can bring in others. Yeah.
Please, yeah, send us those details. If you can actually introduce us to Swazi Wire on an email, that would be even better. Just so that we've got all their contact details and they know about the Engage Trade project. They know that it's USAID funded and supported. That's super important. Can we switch over to the next, I think? So yeah, Eswatini. Great. So Aon is also a new buyer that we've come across this year. We've sourced them off the back of looking for companies that are a little bit different and meet someone like Eswatini's criteria. You know, Aon Skin are, so they're a skincare company, but they do something a little bit different in a soap care package. So they were very excited to meet Eswatini, who had a product that was a little bit different for them. So it's always looking for companies that are a little bit different than your usuals. So this meeting went extremely well. It's an opportunity to almost private, it is a private label opportunity, which is great. It requires no marketing, taking into retailers as well. It's developing on bulk. So private label, I'm sure you guys all know, it's quite a well-known thing in the US, where people manufacture on behalf of another brand. So that's a great opportunity. It's again, looking at getting samples down there quickly on time. Again, I want to stress this, it's so important, is that you are chasing, getting product samples to a buyer quickly also proves that you can get products to them on time. So once you are manufacturing for them, that you are reliable and time sensitive as well. So really pushing, that's your first experience. So if you can't get samples down within a few days, then a company's going to go, are these guys ever going to actually send product on time? They're going to be late on ordering and delivering. It's like the idea of judging a book by its cover. That is your cover, when you're sending samples on time. So please, it would be great if you push them to send stuff. It's very easy to get things from Swaziland through to South Africa. So it shouldn't be difficult to get it down in a day or so when that happens. Sedimeni Farming and Dynamic Trade. Dynamic Trade are, just to give you an outline, are a very large distributor in South Africa. They do large bulk trading, so bulk products, so your wheat and corn and very staple products. So they're only really looking at companies that can do large quantities of products. Sedimeni was one of them that they selected. Obviously, the Dynamic Intertrade are looking for bird's eye chili. It's very, they seem very keen on the heat level of the chili. So they will be having a look at that, and they're waiting for the sample to arrive so that they can test it. But Dynamic, again, we found them through sourcing key distributors in the market that have the ability to do large scale. We were the target for them was actually someone like 260 Brands with their large soy stuff. as well as guys like the Lacamaco, Malawi mangoes, Montigny, etc., who are doing large volumes of product. And yeah, so someone like Sedimani, LNL, farming as well, have the ability to supply in large quantities. They are also looking for lots of other things. So they're very keen on herbs and spices as well. So that's why we put things out to you guys as well, saying it would be great to get herbs and spices involved. And we've got quite a lot of leads for exporters doing that kind of stuff. So there's a big opportunity there. Again, Dynamic in the beginning seemed keen, and then they went off the boil for about 3 or 4 weeks, and we had to chase them, and then suddenly something must have changed. And that's what we find with buyers consistently is, you know, they obviously have a big order that they're running through, and that's going to obviously make them a lot of money or certain amount of money, so they go off the boil while they start trying to sort that out. And it's just consistency, going back to them saying, okay, are you guys going to do something? There's different people in the company as well. We started with the CEO of the company, Rob, and sort of worked our way through to Serge. Serge was insistent on an in-person meeting, which didn't actually materialize in the end. We just kept on pushing him for this, and it got to a point where he suddenly said, yeah, he definitely needs this. So someone's obviously let him down on an order for chilies that, or they suddenly become a demand. So consistency is key, and not giving up on these kind of guys is always key.
Rex, Martin says that the farming name is, the company's name is Sedimani, without the E at the beginning, but we can correct that and follow up.
Mistake. I changed it 3 times, so I thought that might be an issue, but yeah, it is noted. Thank you.
And then Sediba had their hand up earlier and said on the chat, I'm here, but great to hear feedback on Botswana firms and hope deals can get to a close. That was just before we started on Eswatini. Sediba, do you have anything to add or ask?
It's okay. Thanks, David.
Okay, great. I just wanted to check in there. Yeah, and I'm just, while I'm blabbering on here, I'm very happy to see that they're concerned about the heat level of the chilies, because I can't find a good hot sauce in a South African retailer. So anyway, shall we move on to the next country? Does anyone else have anything to add? Oh, Katia says, INVXT from Mozambique seems to be a great fit for Dynamic Intertrade. They've actually engaged before for supply of beans and other grains. Dream Agro Business, also from Mozambique, supplies iChili.
Okay. Then again, Katia, please. I think in Cindy's INVXT, I think they are one of the people that we are introducing. Yes. Yeah.
Yes, so we are working with them.
Awesome. Brilliant. So definitely, but Katia, please do a formal introduction or email to us to Dream Agro, so that we can make sure that they are meeting with them, and that we understand that their bird's eye chili could be here as well. We've had quite a, you'll see it come up, but there's a lot of need for spices, so different types of like mixed herbs, spices, garlic, dried garlic, dried ginger, etc., like that. That's in high demand in South Africa. It's all coming from India, Indonesia, various parts of Asia at the moment, and freight costs are becoming a huge issue in this space. So if they can get it from Africa, the South African importers are very, very keen on sourcing from elsewhere at the moment, and they export a huge amount of that product to Europe. So there's Cape Foods, there's Cape Herbs and Spices, people like Dynamic Intertrade, there's Walker's Bay that wanted to get a whole lot of products. So there's a huge, huge demand. So it's a very lucrative opportunity for companies at the moment.
Thanks, Rex. Martin and Sibusiso have their hands up.
All right. Yeah.
Who wants to take it away?
Thanks, Rex. So I just wanted to give you just a bit of update as with regards to this, the status of these deals. So Eswatini Indigenous has already sent 4 bars of the soap to Aeon Skincare on Friday. And then Stemane, when we just checked through them yesterday, they are still drying the chili as required by dynamic intertrade to measure the Scoville level, the heat level of the chili. So I think once it's done, they'll be sending 1 kg of the chili to dynamic. Thanks.
Yeah. Okay, that's great. I mean, yeah, just for future reference, it's good to have that kind of ready and waiting. I don't know how long it will take them to dry that, but yeah, the sooner we can get it to the buyer, the better, just to keep them interested and relevant.
Great. And Sibusiso.
Yeah, thank you very much, Dave, and thanks to Rex for the presentation. It's good to see that there is indeed interest, from buyers, to products from Eswatini. I actually wanted to check if the status in terms of sending the samples, as you were saying here, that they had promised to send, I think it's the 23rd, if I'm not mistaken. So I'm using my phone, so I'm not able to see the screen clearly. But Martin, I think, has answered that one to say that everything is in order, so they will be sending. And maybe to also indicate that, as Chami suggested, yes, we do have quite a lot of companies in the construction industry. And I think we can share that information with you, so you can see, I mean, which companies can be linked with. I think it's Build It Cape Town or something. So we're going to share that information. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Sibusiso. Great. Can we move over to the next country?
Cool. Marina also says Nat Effect from Lesotho would be a good fit for herbs. Comments.
Brilliant. Marina, please introduce us. That'd be great. Great. So from Lesotho, obviously, just to recap on that, we were very concerned with the level of honey companies that were coming from that. A lot of the companies were very small. They had 100 bottles of honey, originally 300, but then it dropped down to 100. So it has been a very big struggle getting them involved and meeting with people. However, something quite exciting has come out of it with a company called Meant to Be. So they are a large company that's, you see a lot of their products in ShopRite and Pick n Pay, where you basically take a jar and you fill it from a large container. They're doing extremely well, and they're looking for more and more honey. Very strong feedback that we got from people is that when it comes to honey, it needs to come from as close a hive as possible to you to maintain the levels of the effectiveness of honey, so to keep the quality up. So Lesotho makes sense. It's obviously in the center of South Africa, and it can get products to the various main cities around the country. So meant to be, we're quite excited about this. Obviously, their biggest problem when they met with BeLife in the beginning was the quantities, because they need a huge amount of quantity to come. I do see a massive opportunity in sort of grouping companies together. So it would be a great conversation to discuss a cooperative in the market. There are very similar cooperatives, even in the wine industry in South Africa and various other fruit and veg industries, to group those companies together and make sure that we're getting a consistent supply of honey. Meant to Be actually put hives into farms as well. So they actually supply hives and then work on a process where they buy back that honey from farmers. So, and the first few crops or pay for those hives, and then it's profitable business from there onwards. So that first conversation just sort of opened up the opportunity. BeLife producers have connections to the Department of Forestry, so they were very excited about this, and then set up a second meeting which included the Lesotho Department of Forestry, and that led to quite a interesting conversation of them looking to work with Meant2Be, and Meant2Be sending a proposal where they can put those hives into various farms. So we are just waiting for that to come through. That could open up a huge amount of production in the country, and yeah, really help uplift those various farmers that we are working with. So very exciting. I wanted to highlight that as well, as it could be something that's quite important for the US trade team to get involved in. So possibly the next meeting, once that proposal's gone through, which we'll share to you guys as well, is that USAID actually jump in and put their support behind it, because I'm guessing you guys have got connections to the Lesotho Department of Forestry as well. Would that be under you, Tammy?
It's Kos here, Rex.
Yes, Kos.
Thanks very much regarding the opportunity to supply Meant2Be. Yes, we also met with them at the AB7 CITEX, and they are also in discussions with colleagues in Malawi, and I think Malawi so far, then Zambia as well, I think, as other sources of honey. So yeah, I think it's a good opportunity.
Brilliant. And
yeah, I mean, yes, you invited us to be part of the next meeting. Please let us know when it's taking place, and we can also join the meeting.
Awesome, great.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks, sir. Can we move on to the next country, David?
We do have a couple of hands up from Renato and Marina.
Okay, I'll go ahead. I just wanted to find out if there are any updates with JMM beekeeping. JMM beekeeping with Meant2Be. I understand that they already have conversations going on. They also supply honey. And my second question also would be, is it also possible maybe to introduce some more firms that produce honey? Would that be possible to introduce them with to Meant2Be?
Yeah, we can. I would say it needs to be firms that have got quantities, though, because with JMM, they also didn't have a huge quantity of product, so we're struggling with them. But they, you know, they obviously having chats with Meant2Be. The opportunity here is that, yeah, I think in order for Meant2Be to actually start purchasing from them and not just putting beehives into their facilities, they need to have a certain output at this point. Otherwise, it's going to be a longer cycle. And we're happy to introduce them and connect them. But if we're going to, we're at this stage of the Engage Trade program where we need to start closing deals, not setting up long-term opportunities, but we are happy to do those introductions. So if it comes from you guys and say we'd like to introduce this company to Meant2Be, drop it over to us. We'll do the email introduction, but we will not sit on there and try and manage that opportunity because it's a long cycle sell.
Okay, thanks. Thank you, Rex.
Sure.
Marina.
Thank you. And I think Renee already asked part of what I wanted to also bring up. Thank you for that response, Rex. Yes, I think you're right. JMM beekeeping is also in talks with Meant2Be, and there are really efforts on the ground on the scaling up. I now also wanted to, I see some potential also with Net Effect. You made reference to herbs. Net Effect produces herbs and MG commodities for dry beans. Initially, when we submitted the names of suppliers, we did not, on these two, there was interest, but we didn't submit them because in the last seasons, they were really affected by the rains and their volumes were not good during harvest. So they actually requested us to sort of wait until the next harvest cycle so that they can give us something a bit more solid in terms of what they're able to deliver on in terms of volumes, and then also the pricing at the time. So I think we could revisit the conversation with them and see how we can link them up with you again.
Sure, that's fine. I mean, yeah, again, just linking us to them would be great, and we'll go from there. Honey quantities required. So for Meant to Be, I'm not sure their totals. I mean, as I said, they are supplying a lot of the ShopRites. I'm assuming that it's huge quantities. We did approach, I think, off the back of that, we approached people like Heartfelt Honey, and they were looking for tons at a time. So huge amount of honey required. And you'll see as we go through others, even some of the other opportunities, you know, someone like Forest Fairies is a sweet manufacturer. They use, I don't know, 200 or 300 kilograms a month. Guys couldn't supply them with the required honey. So there's a lot of honey required in South Africa for various purposes. So I think, yeah, setting up some kind of a program like this would yield a lot of opportunity for people. Great.
There were two other comments there, Rex. Tammy said Marina would be at the focal point and I would also be in attendance. That was when you were speaking about 5 minutes ago. And
Yeah.
Sebakiso says, we at Bedco will also be interested to receive the proposal once available. We can then see how we can support the business. Great. So shall we move on to the next country?
Yeah.
Malawi.
Great. So Malawi, been a very strong country for us this time around. Panachi and Confucio, great companies. A lot of opportunity for cheer in South Africa at the moment. Everyone we've spoken to have said they're quite interested in looking at this. So again, another opportunity. If anyone knows of more cheer companies, please send them our way, because I'm not sure Panachi is going to have the quantities needed by everybody. So there's definitely a big opportunity. Again, Soaring Free, as mentioned earlier, opened this up through getting them involved and presenting and committing to the program. They are very, very keen. The first meeting went extremely well. It comes down to testing those cheer and seeing if they're the right quality. But yeah, we're waiting for that. It's a huge amount, 500 kilograms starting order, and there's sort of a 600 tons over the year. So it's sort of a monthly 500 kilograms that they would need. So yeah, really, really great opportunity. It's just about getting that analysis back now. Panachi seem to have their own analysis team, so they're just getting that done for Soaring Super Free. But once that comes through, I see this being a big opportunity. There is a shortage of cheer in the country, so it's I'm pretty sure something will come out of this, which is exciting. Soaring Free Superfoods also supplying quite a lot of different manufacturers and people as well that are needing this. So it's quite an exciting opportunity there. Forest Fairies, I mentioned a few minutes ago. They produce a lot of different sweets, and they do nougat and various other sort of high-end sweets. Very, very keen. Also struggle to get macadamia in the right quality. A lot of the macadamia that comes from South Africa is not processed, or it's sort of sent quite raw or green nut to countries around the world and other producers. Whereas Confucio seem to have a product that, or they do, I know they've got a product that is ready for consumption straight away. So that's quite exciting. Forest Ferry is also open to be distributing partner for Conforzio. That could be a great opportunity. Forest Ferry is already supplying a lot of different delis and shops, and we've seen them grow massively over the last few years, and export quite a bit of product overseas. So that's a very exciting opportunity. Again, when we first started with Conforzio, with the amount of macadamias in South Africa, was concerned, but finding the right type of buyer for them is key. So someone like Forest Ferries would be a massive opportunity there. So yeah, it's consistency with them. And then M&M nuts as well. So also a huge importer of nuts, they are distributing nuts to various stores as well around the country. Again, looking for macadamias, which is surprising with so much macadamia coming from South Africa. However, the market is very controlled in South Africa for macadamias. A lot of the crops are spoken for, going to different markets in the world. Over the last 10 years, macadamias have been promoted extremely well from South Africa to markets across the globe, and people understand the macadamia now and what they can be used for. So sometimes getting their hands on macadamias or the right quality macadamias is very, very difficult. So that's where that opportunity came through, and M&M have quite a lot of opportunity and interest in buying quite a bit of product. So we see that developing. Again, it's both with Forest Ferries, M&M's, is that it is going to be a timing thing. So as soon as they have that, all the products tested and they have samples, it will move forward, but it will be on exactly when that product is needed. So we will be constantly going back to them and making sure we're chasing this and keeping everybody relevant. And yes,
Katia says both Forest Ferries and M&M nuts require processed macadamia. Question.
Yes, yeah. So Forest Ferries are a sweet manufacturer, and the nougat, so they're looking for macadamias to go into their nougat. So it has to be processed and ready to go straight into their product, and a good quality nut as well, so it enhances their product. And M&M nuts, yes, they are packing nuts, so they want it all ready for them. They don't want to roast and worry about that side of it. So yeah, it is all processed.
Great.
Can we move over to the next page on Malawi? I think there's another page.
Is there anyone here from Malawi representing who might want to jump in or chime in? Oh, we've got continued. There we go.
Yeah.
Sorry, Rex.
So Manolis Munchies, again, very happy. Again, a big nut producer or packer in South Africa. Again, struggling to get macadamias and the right ones. As mentioned earlier, right in the beginning, this comes down to consistency with buyers. Manoli's buying macadamias from South Africa regularly for the last few years, but they've had a problem with one of their suppliers, and just out of us keeping the pressure on them, they've suddenly said, yeah, we're keen. We'll have a look at these nuts from Malawi. And the opportunity is there because they've dropped or sent back a whole order that they've brought in. So again, it's consistency, and Conforzio have got those really good nuts. I mean, I remember seeing them when they were out in Cape Town as well. High quality, well packed for the international market. So very exciting. Again, NutriSeed, just to add that in there, that's sort of developing as well with Panachi, with chia seed, so that could be great. Again, look, another ton of chia seed going there as well. I think we've just scraped the surface with chia seeds, because we keep on getting companies that we're chatting to say, yeah, that's the first quite interesting thing. So there's because of the shortage in the country. So just wanted to highlight that, but that's going to be a bit of a longer cycle. And then Conforzio with NutriSeed as well, again, with macadamians. So looking for someone to contract manufacture for one of their clients. So that's really exciting. So just waiting for samples to come down for that. So also very dependent as well, again, on timing. So it's consistency with buyers on that. Any questions, Amalai, before we move forward? No. Okay, great.
Next one,
Mozambique. Just where my computer is starting to get very low on battery, so I think it's going to hold on. I might have to swap over to my phone, but if it does, I'll be back with you in a few seconds. So Mozambique, also a great country, probably definitely our largest opportunities coming from this market. Some great companies, really interesting product. We had from the beginning a really great group of applications coming from Mozambique. I think we could have nearly filled the whole program with Mozambican companies, and we had to select down to 5 or 6 in the end. I've added some stuff on here. Obviously, Afrifruit and Sorry Free, great connection there. It is a coconut oil, but there's things with like gooseberries as well that they're looking, and berries for cans. So that's developing nicely, but it will be a longer cycle. So we'll have to continue that as we go. Baobab, Mozambique, and Rush Nutrition. I mean, we searched for Baobab based on Rush Nutrition asking for Baobab products and Baobab powder. So it made sense that this is going to be an opportunity from it was developed from the start. Really great opportunity, looking for prices now and product into market. So we'll continue that only. Sort of developed further last week. So you can see it's been a month, nearly a month of back and forth and chasing opportunities. So, but we do see that coming through because there's a demand for that by Rush Nutrition. So we see that turning. Again, I just want to mention Afrifruit and Rush Nutrition as well. There's various products that they're looking for. So the possibility of contract manufacturing for them. Rush Nutrition does get a lot of, they do contract manufacturing, but they also get stuff contract manufactured for them. So great opportunity there. And it will just be a consistency going back and forward with those two. If we can jump over to the next page on Mozambique before we get questions. Another few opportunities, there were a lot more and you guys would have got those, but another 2 really great ones. I met Butternut, and this is the importance of going to trade shows. They've come to a few shows with us overseas for years, and then I saw them at the Plant Powered show, had a chat with them again, and they said, yeah, they're definitely looking for cashews. It made sense, especially because Condor only have cracked nuts available at the moment, and broken kernels. And Butternut, obviously, that's what they need. They don't need whole kernels. So it's getting samples down, and I know Condor quite on the ball with stuff as they have been before. But we see this as a massive opportunity into the market at the moment. So that could be really good. I've mentioned there Condor and NutriSeed. I think this is a longer sale, so that's why it's not highlighted in pinky purple, because Condor will only get those nuts again and have those available at the end of the year. However, we saw this happen last year with Manolis and Cape Drive, that suddenly Condor had a shipment to somewhere in Europe that was cancelled, and they suddenly had a whole lot of nuts available. So we'll keep them on the burner and keep consistency with Condor and NutriSeed over there, and that could possibly turn. And then, yeah, INVXT, an opportunity with sesame seeds for NutriSeed. Again, another type of seed that's quite in need at the moment. So we're just waiting for samples to get down. But we see this as a massive opportunity. NutriSeed will be sending product to various other people. We've got a couple of other buyers on the go in this sort of seed space as well. Big AGT, they're one of the biggest in the world, multinational, but their local partner is very keen, or local office very keen. He was very, very keen, but suddenly had to go off to hospital. So, you know, this happens with buyers that, as I said, it sort of ebbs and flows with them. You just have to be consistent and wait for the right time, and then make sure that you communicating with them and then landing the opportunity there. But I think NutriSeed will go through quite nicely. Mozambique, any? So I see someone saying raw also. Okay, Cindy's answered Katya for that. Yeah, it will be raw or salted based on the product that they're doing. So if it's going into a nougat bar, it will be raw without unsalted nuts that they would use. Mozambique, any questions before we move on? No. Okay. Can we move on to Namibia then?
Namibia.
Great. So I'm going to try to finish this before my 10% runs out. So yeah, just want to highlight a massive opportunity for Silverlands. However, so we had a bit of a problem with Silverlands with their dates. This is why I put them on here. So we did push back to you guys over Friday last week when Cindy sent that stuff out. There is an opportunity for dates in the country, a massive opportunity. Manolis wants them, Rush wants them, Soaring Free wants them, and various other, Cape Dried Fruit wants them. There's a lot of opportunities. Unfortunately, Silverlands don't have them yet. So really want to see if there is, I know Namibia's got loads of dates, so there must be other companies doing them. So if you could send us some information about that, that'd be great. And there are orders ready to go there. So please connect us with people in that region from Namibia side. I think it's only really Namibia, maybe Angola. I'm not sure if they're doing some stuff there. So if sort of on the same, maybe across border, it might be similar weather in that region. But yeah, definitely dates. So that's why you'll see those there. But yeah, won't be an opportunity until they've got those dates available, a closed opportunity until then. So we'd love to fulfill that some way. Meatco highlighted their great opportunity, Indian Ocean exporting to 54 countries around the world, a lot to the islands, always looking for product. Yeah, Meatco was the company that they chose. We sent them loads of people. They are looking at some of the other things, but again, it will come. They're a type of company that will suddenly say, "Okay, we need something. Now's the time," and suddenly you turn on, and it could be now, it could be in a month, it could be in a year's time, because they are demand driven. But yeah, great opportunity there. There is another call coming up in 2 weeks' time, so we see that as a huge opportunity because they're needing product, and they are often sending out products into various islands as well. So Seychelles is big, Mauritius, etc. Very strong markets for them. Next page.
Zambia.
That's Zambia. Namibia. Any questions before we go on?
Medina says, "Dear sirs, I will contact the organizer and follow the session."
Okay.
Good afternoon, everyone. No questions from Namibia.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right.
She said no questions from Namibia.
No okay. Yeah. Okay. All right, and then we'll just run through Zambia before my computer dies and I have to shoot onto my phone. But yeah, Kamako, again, great produce. Soaring Super Free, again, very strong, very keen on their products. You know, it's that brown rice flour is something very different that they're looking for. So again, it's quantities. So it's getting samples down. So we're just waiting for that. We are chasing Kamako on that, but again, your support would be great. Again, something a little bit different that usually is coming from other parts of the world. It's, yeah, if we can start getting it from Africa, very exciting. And then peanuts for Nuts as well. So very keen on that. There are people doing peanuts in South Africa as well, but again, competitive. So it's, again, getting the right kind of product, but Nuts, you see, are supplying UniChef. So they need a certain quality of nuts down. And just it's again, there's a lot of delay in getting products from other parts of the world at the moment. So yeah, getting stuff from Africa would solve an issue for someone like Nuts. So a lot of opportunity there. And there was another continue on Zambia. Or was that the last two? Yeah, it was, yeah. And then you'll see stuff as well. I've just added on there, Luano with Forest Ferries. Again, Luano has enough quantities. This is what I was talking about earlier with Lesotho lacking the quantities that someone like Luano needs, where Co-op might sort out that problem. So someone like Forest Ferries are looking for 300 kilograms of honey, and that'll be their first order, and they'll probably be looking at this consistently. We haven't even delved into the next guys as well. We're chasing them up, but people's like Walter's Nougat, you know, they're sitting in Hilton, which is very close to it, not far from Lesotho, and they would take a huge amount of honey as well. They do probably 10 times the amount of nougat that Forest Ferries does. So it's another massive opportunity over there. So they need that constant supply of honey. And bring it down, but it was a good conversation because Luano has the quantities. Kamako as well, also sending samples down for their peanut butter. You know, Forest Ferries has this connection to the industry and already distributing and selling a lot of their own products, but there's opportunity to send more and bringing that into their products. So those were two good ones, but we see them again. I've just listed them because they key opportunities, but probably at the right time. So in a month or 2 months time. So we'll just keep consistent with that and keep monitoring that. So we'll probably see that run through. And then Twala farming, again, we looked for banana flour based on what Russian Nutrition had said. And it's just a matter of getting product down. We see this as a massive opportunity. I see this as coming through quite, yeah, it will be quite an opportunity, and it's something that will be landed. Any questions on Zambia? No. Okay, then let's move on to, I want to just run through this before the Q&A, before my phone dies. We're going to see how it goes.
The laptop's doing really well, Rex.
Yes, it is, just holding on by, its fingertips, and the nails. So I just wanted to quickly give some insight into this. The reason I wanted to look at it is to give you guys an idea of what's been, sort of how we've gone through this. And I think there's trying to make people understand the difference between this kind of targeted virtual B2B program, which we're doing, and attending a trade show, either as a visitor or as an exhibitor. So just to, obviously with targeted virtual meeting programs, it's where we get on the phone, we call up people, we chase guys from people that we know in our database, manufacturers that we work with, retailers that we chase. And it's a lot of calling and chasing, but that's done by a company like ourselves. When it comes to doing it as a company on your own, it's a long cycle. So it is a lot of calling, following up, chasing. It becomes difficult. So there is an opportunity to bring on a company like ourselves, and there are a few of us that are around, and it's becoming more of a better known service. I met a group that started doing it in Morocco during Africa Big 7 as well. We started chatting to them about things. So there are various people that are doing it. Attending a trade show is a little bit different, and just want to demystify that as well. There's obviously two ways. You either visit it as a visitor and you can walk the show, but then again, you're not necessarily meeting the visitors at the event, or you can exhibit at the show, which is quite costly. You obviously got to get yourself to the show. You got to be out. There's a cost of being outside of the office, time taken. You got to be pretty persistent and walking the show with people being busy and going back to guys and making sure your team goes. And we spend a lot of time with that. But I just wanted to give an idea of the two to get it into everybody's minds of what the opportunity is. So just to sort of run through this, looking at the details of these two and the pros and cons. The availability of people, as said, when you're doing B2B meetings and calling people, it's a longer cycle, it's consistency, chasing. So really making sure that you get in front of them. Whereas at a trade visit, it's quick, they're ready, they're wanting to meet with you, they're available. However, again, you're just really focusing on the exhibitors. It's not always the buyers. What we found at Africa Big 7 is actually a lot of the buyers from SPAR, ShopRite, etc. weren't. A lot of guys said to us they didn't see those kind of people. So it's still something that you've got to chase them. But again, it's really good that you're able to get in front of them, and it's a quick introduction and opening to them. Whereas phoning people over and over, it sometimes takes 6 or 7 calls to get in front of them. But once you've got them, you start dealing with them quite consistently over that time. Introductions to your products is very different though. So once a buyer is called up and set up a B2B meeting, the meetings are pre-planned, both parties know who they're meeting. Whereas if you go to a trade event, you haven't got anything in front of you, really. I mean, you could show something, it's spontaneous. The person on the stand is not sure if they're wanting to chat with you or meet with you, or what you're offering them or they're offering you. So it's very unorganized type of meeting. So it's, as I said, very spontaneous. The meeting type of level, again, it's very involved meeting versus it's a very surface type of meeting at a trade show visit. So a very different type of meeting happening. The impact though is quite different. So when we chat to people on the phone or on a virtual B2B meeting, as you say, it's digital, it's trying to convince people by not holding their hand or shaking their hand or having a look at the product. Whereas at a trade show, it's quite personal. So that's really good. And we found that with going to these other shows that, they suddenly know you. But the problem that we find that there is after the trade show, you've got that personal connection, but it's, again, we're going to have to start chasing them to make sure that they get involved. Ability to showcase a sample is great for a trade show, because you've hopefully got a product on it you can show them, but at a B2B meeting, it requires the samples to be delivered. So that's always a struggle. But again, even at a trade show, you're most likely going to have to drop something off and send something down. So that's key. I'm at 1%, so I'm going to try open up on my phone.
Rex, I've just had power restored. To everyone who's wondering what we're talking about, it's South Africa's load shedding schedule, which is a very pretty word for power failures. So Rex, you might have power back on your side too, I hope. Oh, he's vanished. Okay, well, while Rex is gone, I'd like to open up the floor for anyone who's, oh, well, he's already joined on his iPhone. Okay, so that was very fast. But if anyone's got any questions or comments about this page of the presentation, please type in the chat. Hi, Rex.
Great. Hi.
That was quick.
Great. So yeah, and then just to have a look at other key things. So yeah, reconciliation, by that I mean it is actually understanding what it is, following up, really being consistent with communication. So it's, once you're on a video call with someone, you are going through that information. You are constantly, you're already having that conversation of like the recommended product, etc. Whereas at a trade event, again, it's very spontaneous, it's sort of surface level meeting. So quite hard to make sure that opportunity develops, because they're also meeting with loads of different people during the event. So you've got to make sure that you are reminding them of who you are after a trade show, whereas at a call, they already know who you are with them. frequency of that opportunity. So, you can be on a call with someone daily, as long as you're emailing them, calling them, chasing them. Whereas a trade event, you're probably going there annually to that one event, or you're going to that event, to various industry events. Maybe there's 2 or 3 food events in South Africa a year. So it's making sure that you get to them. Price point as well, just so you guys understand. So you're looking at about $300 to $1,000 per meeting to get an idea of price point for B2B meetings. Most people doing this start at about a minimum of 5 meetings. So when it comes to food, FMCG kind of fast-moving products, it is starts at about $300. It goes to about $1,000 if you're looking at technology, where there's less buyers, etc. It becomes more difficult to get a buyer on the phone. But FMCG, it's about $300 a meeting. And as I said, about 5 meetings, so about $1,500 to $2,000 for getting some serious buyers in front of you. Whereas at a trade show, you can visit it, and if you visit it on your own, maybe it will cost $1,000 to $2,000 to be at that event for a few days just to visit. But then again, you're not exhibiting, so you're not sitting in front of the main people. If you wanted to exhibit, you're looking at anything from $8,000 because of travel and stand and everything that goes with it, up to $30,000 if you're going to show overseas or really trying to make a name for yourself in the market. So a lot more costly, but obviously both have their advantages. And then just, the buyer levels are very different. So at a B2B meeting, you're dealing with high decision makers. You have that ability to push back and say, that's not the right decision maker for us. We want to speak to the final decision maker, not someone sort of halfway up the process. So you've got a little bit more control over that. Whereas a trade show, again, it's very undefined. As mentioned, we walked the show and there were decision makers on the stand. So some of the owners, but not always. Sometimes it was just some of the team. So that was sort of undefined by who's going to be there. And then the right buyers at the show, again, you're hoping that the right buyers come past your stand, chat to you. So it can be, you're never 100% sure. So looking at them as 2 different things. A B2B meeting program is more something that you are, you commit to, and you're working with maybe 5 to 10 buyers at a time, and you're really making sure that you're getting the best opportunity out of those buyers. They all know you know about them before you meet. It's a much more focused program. A trade event, participation or a visit is a much more broader marketing experience. So you maybe see 200 companies at a time or 200 people, and you walk through it and you're selling yourself consistently throughout those few days. But it's broad, so you're not necessarily going to meet with the right decision makers while you are there. So both have their merits. It's just understanding the difference of the 2. Cool.
Thanks, Rex. Are there any questions or comments from anyone about this slide? We are going to go into a Q&A session, so please get ready to give some feedback or ask anything that you feel like hasn't been dealt with in the call. Can I move on to that, Rex?
Yeah, please do.
Okay, there we go. Q&A. So any questions from anyone? I think we've kind of answered things as we've gone through the call. Also, the chat from this video call, we will save that and send it to you afterwards, just because there was a little bit of interaction in there and you might want to refer back to it. So we'll send a record of that. I've just saved it. But if you've got any more questions, please do ask them now, or forever hold your peace.
I've got something just to add. There's probably a few of you see certain company names have been coming up consistently exporter and firms, mainly as always because they've got most interesting products and the need for them. However, we're not just letting the others slide. We are pushing them for meetings and getting them involved in conversations. So they are having meetings. We didn't highlight all of them. There will never be enough time, and no use going through all of that. But over the next few weeks, we'll probably see close on another 50 or 60 meetings happening. Cindy and I, as I mentioned, we went to Africa Big 7. We're working through about 60 new buyers and people that we met at that show. A lot of them are interested in sourcing from Africa. So we'll see that, and we'll be introducing a lot of the firms to that. But I do want to just push on that fact that we are coming across demand on certain products a lot. So we will keep on sharing with you guys on the opportunities there, and please continue introducing us to various other companies that might benefit from the buyers that we're meeting.
Oz, you put your hand up.
Yes, thank you very much. So for the presentation, Rex, you mentioned a gap in the market in terms of warehousing solutions. In your engagements with buyers, are there any possible providers of such solutions?
Yeah, there definitely are from different distributors. We came across a company called Brands to Africa. We're having quite a lot of discussions with them at the moment. They work on it's a pay-for program, so people have to have the capacity and the capital to do something like that, where they pay a certain amount of money to house and market those products in South Africa. So there's that option. Then there's also the likes of people like Soaring Free, who will take on product and keep it in office, and they actually supply lots of other buyers and manufacturers, etc. So it's a discussion with someone like that as well. But it's usually, a lot of the time, is quite product based as well. So certain people do things for certain industries, so natural products or basic food products, or cosmetic ingredient products, etc. People doing that kind of stuff. So it's usually broken down per industry. But yeah, there are a lot of people that have that ability to do that. So it's just finding the right and knowing who the right partner is in your space.
Great. You got a thumbs up from Cos. Great. Oh, and a hand up again. Or just a thumbs up. All right, great. Anyone else? So how much time do we put a little bit on it?
We can call it now if no one's got any other questions. We will keep on updating you. I know this, Doreen and Cos, this is a program that's meant to end 30th of June, but we are not going to be giving up then. We'll be working through July and probably into August, just finalizing a lot of these programs, as we did with Engage Trade Africa last year. So a lot of the deals chasing and being consistent on that front. So we will keep on updating you and sending you requests to assist as well where there's extra samples needed. So we'll be pushing very hard on that. Time was not on our side. So I think we only probably started in April once all the companies have been selected. So it's been a mad rush of 2 months. But yeah, just so you know that we are be consistent on the program going forward.
Thanks, Rex. And any other timing related factors people might need to be aware of in terms of how the program rounds off this year?
No, that's about it.
Great. Okay. Thanks, everyone.
Cool. thanks for your time and attention, everyone. And yeah, looking forward to chatting to you over the next 2 months as well.
Yeah, great to see all the opportunities on the table. All right, we'll be sending you a chat capture from this call after the session. And obviously, please feel free to get back to Catalyze over email if you've got anything you want to ask or add, and follow up on what we discussed in the chat and in the session today. Thanks a lot, Rex. Cheers, everyone.
Thank you very much, and well done.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, team.
Thank you, Rex
Thank you,
and
guys.
team.
Cheers.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.